Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Hoops Journey. Really excited for you to sit down with me and Marek Klassen today. It was a great interview. A guy who has worked really hard and carved himself out a really, really nice career. A really, really good dude. Had an interesting path and journey in terms of why he made the choices he did to go where he went, university-wise. Had lots of success at the high school level and was able to snowball that into a good pro career that's still going at 30 years old. Playing pro in France right now. He's been all over and his journey's a good one. Don't forget, the way that you can support us with no money is to like, subscribe, and follow on any platform that you stream this illustrious podcast on. Please do that. And then don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. Hoops Journey has lots to offer. We enjoy these conversations and we need the world to hear them. We got big things coming and we only want to get bigger and better and have more people hear the stories of basketball and people's lives. So stay with us and please sit down and enjoy the episode with Marek Klassen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Hoops Journey. We've mentioned many times on this show that sometimes it's a struggle to try and connect with people because of lives and where they're located. This young man, everyone's a young man to me anyways, but has given us, he's right in the hardest season with a month to go, working on some stuff, which we're going to talk about. A BC legend. I was looking through the old 50th anniversary program today. The young face has not changed that much. There's maybe just a bit of a better beard, but a former AAA MVP, a guy who has traveled the globe, literally, if we want to talk Hoops Journey, and he can correct me, I've got Romania, England, Turkey, CEBL, G League, the Ukraine, Poland, Czech Republic, and now hooping in France. Did I get them all?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have none other than Mr. Marek Klassen with us today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I appreciate it. And it's been, I want to say, a lot of months, maybe even years, we've been trying to connect to do this. So I appreciate it.
That's okay, man. It's, doing this is like makes you realize, but I think usually what happens is you don't want to rush it, right? And you want to make sure it's a purposeful conversation and we both get something out of it. So your journey's a great one. So the good things take time, they say, man. So we talked about it in the start here. You got a month to go in the season. How are things? How's life for you? The good, the bad, the in-between for you these days?
Love it. The pro life is an amazing thing. I tell as many young kids and people as possible to have a dream, to get overseas, to experience living in a new country, not just for basketball, but just to be in a new culture, to experience new friends and different ways of doing life is such a blessing. So I'm over here with my family. I have my wife, Lindsay, and our son, Kingston, who's 2.
Hey.
Yeah, Kingston, he's a hooper, man. He loves basketball more than me. I won't lie. No, but it's been great. France has been a blessing here. I started the year in the Czech Republic, Champions League team. We had a buyout that when Champions League was finished, anyone could purchase the contract. So January came and we finished Champions League and immediately a Euro Cup team bought us. So we went straight to Promete, who's actually a Ukrainian team, their first place in the Euro Cup, spent 2.5 months there. And then the France team picked up our contract to come for the rest of the season. So we've been here. We played Paris on Sunday. We played Le Mans on Wednesday. And now we have Victor Wemby on tomorrow at home.
Man, the money doesn't sleep, hey? Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned too, you were trying to maybe connect earlier in the week. And you're talking about like the spotty Wi-Fi. I remember because when we finally got Pangos on, he was in some random hotel and was like, if the Wi-Fi stinks, man, like we'll reschedule, right? Because you never know what you're getting, but it ended up working well. But I had a good laugh when you mentioned that because it's like life on the road, man.
Oh yeah. And the thing is like we my last team in the Euro Cup, we had days where we were like 5, 6, 7 days on the road. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You do 5, 6, 7 days on the road, you do 2 games. There's not enough time to fly back and forth. So we had a game in Estonia, then we had to fly back, and then we had to go directly to Spain. And on the way, like it was an unbelievable 6, 7 days on the road is different.
Yeah, man. Good thing you got a good wifey. Right?
Yeah, wifey's a fucking kid, right? So she holds it down out here for us. It's a huge thing. And I'll say, man, a lot of pro guys that have good careers, long careers, especially they have a partner. That's a big having someone to come home to, and especially for like a mental space is huge.
Yeah. Now, are you like is it like let's break down the game when she comes home or practice? Or is it like, this is an opportunity to get away from it and just sort of clear my mind kind of thing? Like I know my wife, she's 4'11", she's a skier. She knows nothing about basketball. So I know when I walk in the door, like I just let it go, right? Because I'm like, any conversation we have, she's not even meaning to ask me these questions because she doesn't really care. But I enjoy that side of it because it's like, it does give me an escape, you know? So what's your go-to or your brand at home?
That's funny. No, my wife, she played basketball in college, and she also ran track. So she's a former athlete. So she knows a lot about just athletics in general, but also about the game. So we also try not to do too much though at home.
Sure.
You know, I've learned that one of the big things I've learned over the last 7-8 years as a pro is you have to take mental breaks away from the game. If you constantly focus and hyper focus on it constantly, the overthinking game is the worst. You know, trying to be in the present, trying to be play off instinct is always the fastest way to that flow state. And then coming home and, you know, you had a bad game. That for me, maybe I had 3, 4, 5 turnovers, whatever it is, or missed shots for other people. You just can't focus on it. You can't hyper focus on it. You got to move on.
Sure. Who's the better athlete?
Oh, wifey for sure. There's no question. She was like a serious athlete. Like she, all kinds of offers. Then tore ACL her first game of high school basketball. Still ended up signing a track contract. Was a national champion heptathlete. She's a beast. Which is why my son has a chance. My son has. That's the point. The point is Kingston has a chance. So.
Heptathlon's no joke, man. Holy smokes. That's a different kind of animal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going through, I have a little plantar fasciitis right now. And we're just chatting about how, you know, injuries in sports and track especially has so many foot injuries and they just have to work through it, like sort about it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's get into it, man. Awesome. Young boy from all the way to Yale finds himself in France. We'll get to the in-between here. Talk about you as a young kid growing up, what it was like, and why sports was important to you and you know, getting involved in basketball.
Awesome. Okay, so starting from just an early age, I was always around the game. My dad was the director of Athletes in Action for basketball.
Legend.
Dave Klassen, right? He man, OG for a lot of people. Like he coached in high school. He coached.
I've seen that mustache in so many photos.
I mean, the man is crazy. The man's won like 3 or 4 high school championships as a coach. He coached at Trinity Western. You know, he was the assistant coach there. He's assistant coach in other places. Did a ton of AAU, I guess is what they call it now. A lot of that coaching and a lot of mentorship. I mean, he did hundreds of camps for Athletes in Action. So I was always around the game, even from, you know, age 3, 4, 5, had a ball in my hand, played every sport possible. But then
AIA was one of those first ones. Hey, like they were one of the OGs, especially on the West Coast, to like really do it like as an organization, you know?
Yes. So for me, one of the biggest memories of my like early high school days where I really fell in love with the game of basketball was, so I love soccer too. I love soccer. But I was grade, like, I think it was grade 8 or grade 9. And my dad called me. I'm at his office in Langley and hey, like, what are you doing? Do you have your basketball shoes? No, I don't have anything. He's like, okay, well, hey, I'll get you some shorts. I'll get you some shoes. Steve Jansen wants to work out.
Steve Jansen.
Yeah. Steve Jansen wants to work out at Trinity Western and he needs a rebounder. I don't know who Steve Jansen is. I'm like, who is that? You know, he's like, oh, Marek, like, you know, he's one of the best shooters in all of, like, literally all of Canada, potentially Western Canada for sure. He's playing his 3rd or 4th year in Germany. This dude's a legend. Get over there. I'm like, all right. So I went to re-rep with this guy. And you know how it is, like, you're grade 8, grade 9, you don't want to do these kinds of things. You think that you're the man. I went there and we're doing this workout. And he had this drill where you start at, I think it was you start at 5 or whatever it is, or maybe start at 0. And if you make a shot, it counts as 1. If you miss it, it's -2. And you either go to plus, you know, if you first get the +10 or -10. So it's whatever. The dude went 10 straight and it was my turn. And I like went 5 misses in a row, -10. Like, okay, fine. And then, you know, he did it again and he ended up making 50 shots in a row from 3 in this workout. And I was just like, my mind was so blown that there was a whole nother level of shooter that I had never seen before. And it was that I had never seen anyone make 50 in a row. It didn't matter if it was free throws. I don't know if I'd ever seen that. So yeah. And it was like, you know, that was a good workout for Steve. It's not like that was that's 50 in a row, it's 50 in a row. Yeah. But still, it was, my mind was open to, there's people that are so much better than me. I couldn't even imagine until that point. And that same thing has occurred to me in so many, but that really opened that area of my life. Like I can be so much better than anybody I've ever seen around me. And I'm not comparing myself to these people anymore. I'm comparing myself to Steve and to Danny and to, you know, all these other guys that my dad was bringing through the thing. So developed a real love for the game, met some pros at an early age that I think was huge. to give me that love and that appreciation and that genuine like drive to become a pro.
I think it's dope that you saw it that young and you're hungry for it that young. Like that's interesting. It's one thing to be hooked into the game and like follow dad around and be in the gym or whatever, but to actually like be around those guys and then actually start to think that, it's interesting.
Like for instance, another one, I was in grade 10. My brother was in grade 12. That was the year that Yale won the championship. And we were in the summer at Athletes in Action Camp. And all the guys from Yale are there. So like the best team in the province is represented there. It's 7, 8 guys from the squad. And at that time, like it used to be your whole basketball team would go to these camps together, and you'd all hoop together. So there was like, let's say there's 120 kids or something at this camp. All the other guys are there, the best players in the province. And this coach, Dave Daniels, I don't know if you know Dave Daniels.
Yeah.
So, okay, Raptors guy, right? Like, you know, back up Steve Nash, played on the national team. So this I didn't no idea again who this guy was. And he shows up like midway through the second day. He's a coach. He's so short and he's kind of thick. Like he doesn't even look like he's in shape. And anyway, my dad starts talking him up and Dave is like, I don't know, whatever, saying something. And my brother's in grade 12 says like, nah, Steve, nah, Dave, I can beat you one-on-one. And he's like, what? Say less. Okay, next time out, like next water break, let's go. So anyway, they play one-on-one. He just immediately 3-0. And the kids started challenging him. So my dad just said, line it up. Everybody wants to play. Dave, line it up in the gym right now. My dad was like that. He just kind of really had the energy piece. And Dave, he smoked every single grade. I mean, it was like, now that I'm a pro, I realize it, but it's so easy to beat these high school kids, but he took every single high school kid, scored on him over and over. And then just like, once he scored, get to the back of the line, scored on him again, back of the line, scored. It was crazy. He went through like, I want to say 40, 50 kids and then just said, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. This is how like low level this is. And it was, again, another thing where I was like, whoa, there's people out there that are so much better than this, that it again opened and tried to expand myself,
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That's cool, man. It's like when you frame it like that, right? Like it's like when dudes think, I could go in a shooting contest against so-and-so. And then you're just like, do we really know how good these people are? Like they're so good, right? Like so good.
Yeah. You go in an NBA shooting competition with someone, anyone can shoot, anyone can make 10 in a row if you just stand still, right? 10 in a row from one spot. There's no problem. Sure. But if you want to make 10 in a row with a defender on you, running from multiple places, after doing this workout, after being, it's a totally different world.
Yeah. And then, so that, those high school years, big years for you, right? 2009, you guys finished 7th, right? You're a second team All-Star. 2010, you guys win it all. Is that true? Was it 49-40?
Yeah. Yeah. And I scored, and I scored, I think 25. At 25 and 17.
I thought we won it. As a coach, we won in 2014 and it was like, I think we scored 53 or something like that. And I was like, that might be one of the lowest scoring games. And then I saw your score. I was like, damn, that's crazy. But that's, hey, it's a grind, right? You got high school kids in big arenas, 4 days to try to win it, like fatigue, matchups. I mean, I don't know how many times you saw White Rock that year when you guys won, but just talk about those high school years and how important they were and the success that you had and were able to build off, right? The baby-faced assassin in those photos, man, it's hilarious. You look so young, but just good years playing in the Agrodome and competing against, getting a chance to play against White Rock. Like, I mean, obviously Yale is a dynasty program too. And just to have your name kind of engraved. I mean, you probably haven't been back to the BC championships in a while, but they've got like huge poster boards and it's like every MVP of all time. And you're one of those people, which is pretty dope, man.
It's really cool. Yeah, actually, I've never been back. Never been back since I graduated. But well, yeah, that's very interesting, But 2020 or 2008, we won, my brother, we won there, and I was on that team. And I remember my dad brought all the guys that weren't seniors into the middle and said, "Hey, remember this moment, feel this, and want this again for yourself." And next year, the year after that, we were just as talented the next year, but we had a guy go down with a serious injury in the quarterfinals, and then the next year we won again. Didn't lose a game that year at all, and 49-40. I think I had 25 and 17, more than half the team's points. And I missed 8 free throws in that game. It was like,
guys could have had 33.
Yeah, well, I mean, could have had 33 like in a game like that. And that setting it was special. It was a special time. And like, I was again, like on top of the world. I had already signed, in January to go down south. And
we did. That was going to be my next question. Yeah. So you were kind of just hooping, right? Confident.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like my story is different than a lot of other people's. I come from a strong Christian family.
Sure.
We have a big faith-based background, and my parents were like, "You're not going to college unless you go into a Christian school." And second, we have no money for college, so if you don't get a scholarship, you're also not going to college. I think I remember that it was like my grade 10. I sat down and hey, Marek, you're pretty good at basketball. You're also pretty good at soccer. Just so you know, you're not going to college. like, we can't afford it. You're going to have to do a gap year. So if you don't get a scholarship, you're not going. And that was a big motivator for me, and the realest thing. So the first offer I took, first full ride offer I had, I took it. When I was in San Diego playing at the tournament down there, my grade 12 season. Had some other offers my grade 11 year, and but just kind of floundered out, nothing crazy. And then grade 12, same thing, had some offers, but nothing like full ride. Hey, we're going to take care of you. We're going to look at all these different things. And we went down and played in that Torrey Pines tournament. I had a really great tournament. We played Kyrie's team, and next thing you know, full ride offer, took it. San Diego, took it. I'm going to college. Was
the focus the States, or was it just when time comes, whatever the best offer is financially? Like, what was your thought process there? Like, knowing that probably America would be able to offer more money just in general. I mean, Canada would love it and all U sports amazing, but knowing that the chances of you getting 5 years of everything paid for is kind of a rare thing, right?
Well, I had all the offers. Like, I had so many offers in even in grade 11 from U sports, like all of them that I never really considered it, because I already had, like, New Mexico State had offered me in grade 11. I think, I don't know what else there, Sacramento State, like just some smaller schools like that. New Mexico State wasn't the school it is now, but anyway, so I had some of those offers, and I once I saw that, I committed myself to, no, I'm gonna go down south. And even though there were some really heavy other offers from here, and like, it's funny because me and Matt Leckman and Tommy Scrub, we all went on an SFU visit together. We did a UBC visit together. Like, we just kind of all did it because rounds, but it was never something that I considered.
Yeah, I forgot about Leckman until I saw the photo. I was like, that guy was a beast, man.
Oh, what? Yeah, 6'6", and
his high school beard was impressive too. He did not look like he was in high school, man. Big Yale farm boy, man.
We didn't lose a single game. Not a single game in Canada, and we didn't lose a game in America. We went to America, and we won every tournament we played in.
You won that Torrey Pines.
That's the crazy thing. We went to the Torrey Pines tournament, and we were like in the third division or something, smashing teams. Like, literally after our third game, we're beating teams by so much. So, like, hey, there's a team in the second division that had some sort of issue. They can't make it. You guys are in the second division. Sweet. We won 2 games in the second division. We're on the last final day, and they're like, hey, look, we're going to put you guys into the first division. So it was wild. And we ended up, we played Irie's team, and we did lose that game, but it was like, it never really went on our record or whatever, because we weren't even supposed to be in that division. It was like strange.
Yeah.
He was a beast. Athletically, he was a beast in high school.
Was he nuts?
And he had like not major, but he had some good offers in the States, but he just, he was a guy who, again, parents focused on education, make sure you get a degree, make sure, so.
Yeah. And so Point Loma, like you led the team in scoring your freshman year?
I was all American my first year, and rookie conference and stuff. And right away had much bigger offers. Had USC, like I went crazy at USC. I had like 15-5, and coach loved me. And USC called, and San Diego State and some other places. I tried to transfer that year. That was the year. Plus, my coach left.
Okay.
He became the athletic director after my first year.
Yeah.
So then it was like wide open, but it wasn't the same as now. It's like the portal. Now it's like, hey, I'm in the portal, and then the next day you're somewhere else.
Crazy.
It wasn't like I had to present a list of schools. Blah blah blah. And anyway, so what happened was the coach at San Diego, University of San Diego, he came to Point Loma. He was they had just been caught in a betting scandal at University of San Diego, and they fired everybody. The whole thing. And so he was a Division I coach who just put a ton of pros, and he met with me personally and said, hey, here's the deal. Like, you can go wherever you want. You can go to this D1 program. You can go to San Diego State. You can go wherever you want. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a pro, I'll make you a pro. I have these agents under my thumb. These are my connections. These are the NBA scouts that will come to our games. I got it all. I got it all for you. If you want to be a pro, I'll make you a pro. And so I said, okay, I'll trust you.
Wow.
And that's how it went down for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so obviously from more school and in like a small place in San Diego, you got San Diego State, you got even University of San Diego is bigger. I mean, maybe not better, but even bigger. But I decided to stay because I wanted to be where I was wanted and not necessarily needed, if that makes sense.
Sure. Why did you choose to trust him?
And to be honest, I didn't even get along with him. It's crazy. Like,
that's player coach, that happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Totally. Like, yeah. And especially now, again, it's seriously totally different than when I was in college. Like when I was in college, it was like you were locked in. You made your commitment. It's like a 2-3 year thing. Like we argued a lot, and we had some stuff. And I tried to transfer again. 2 years later, and he just here's my 6 schools. He said, no, you can do this one. I was like, oh my gosh, and then had to represent 5 new schools, get it approved by the administration. Then no, you can check this one out. It was wild, but
what I will say is that he gave me a thing. Marek, you can be a great player. You can even become a pro if you want to. Here's the 3 things you need to work on. Here's the 2 things that you're great at, and you have to have 2 great skills. 2 great skills to become a pro. And so he just had a plan. He had he was on first name basis with Steve Kerr, and every time we went up to the Bay Area, we practiced in the Warriors facility. He had like big names in his pocket. And at the time, and I still kind of believe this, it's all about who you know and less about where you've been and more about who you know. So that's the kind of stuff. Like if someone knows people and they can get you in there, they can get you in there.
If you're a basketball player out there in the Lower Mainland or BC in general, and you're looking for somewhere to play, we have a proud sponsor, and that is PGC Hoops. You can find them at pgchoops.ca. And the thing that makes them unique and that we're proud to sponsor them and them be a sponsor of us is it's a true nonprofit basketball organization found in the east side of Vancouver. The mission is cost-effective elite basketball for all. Find the website, take a look, register your kids, register yourself, look for the programs. And if you have any questions, reach out to me and we can contact you with the right people. This is a good program for the right reasons. We appreciate you, PGC Basketball. People will puke because I mentioned 1,000 times I teach a leadership class. So if people that are like faithful to the pod will know that. But I consistently tell the young people, it is all about relationships. It is 100% relationships. Like if you treat people well, not the people that like treat you badly, just if you're a good person and you have character and you keep connections, and that's literally what it's all about, man. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
For sure. And so I will say that, there's moments where I have regret about, I maximized myself at Point Loma, and I was, did everything I could really. And there was definitely opportunities where I could have left to go to a bigger program and try to do something bigger in that conference or that place. I don't want to say regrets, but it's not regrets. It's the fact that I didn't understand that years later, how it would look on my resume. Yeah. Years later, I get called from Canada Basketball, or even years and years down the road, even whatever. And it's always like, oh, you played at Point Loma. Like, where's that? And if that has something to do with the type of player I am today, or 4 or 5 years down the road as a pro, you're meeting with a coach or like, in an interview, and he's like, oh yeah, it's between you and this guy from Kansas, and da-da-da. I'm like, oh, that guy from Kansas, yeah, he averaged like 4 points and 2 assists last year. Yeah. Why you guys look at him? And he's like, oh well, then he went to Kansas, and he's got this. So interesting how the name that you play at does have a massive influence on where you go and how you play after. There's no doubt about it. And again, the connections. I remember when I talked to the Carleton, I think it was assistant coach at Carleton, and I had to go do my visit at Guelph or whatever. And they were like, Marek, you got to come to the East Coast. You want to be on the national team. You want to do other stuff. You got to come to the East Coast, man. That's how it is. And interesting times.
That's how they sold it, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, it's difficult, man. It's difficult to, I met my wife at Point Loma. I got a great education. I got my master's. I spent 5 years in San Diego. It was an amazing opportunity, a God thing. There's no question.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, it's like I do have seen places where it's like, oh, you went from this small school. Oh shoot,
Yeah, for sure. And at the same time too, like, I mean, you're sitting in France right now. You know what I mean? Like, so it worked out. But also at the same time, maybe you do make that leap. Maybe you're like, Mom, Dad, listen, I want to go for this, and you do go somewhere, and some guy who they think is a stud and better than you, and then next thing you know, you're riding pine. Like. I don't know, man. There's, like regret's a tough word. I think you good that you changed it, right? More like kind of like the what if, but you wouldn't change where you're at, No,
no question. Yeah. Which leads into a great place. Like for being a pro, one thing I'm really passionate about for telling high school kids, especially in Western Canada, Eastern Canada is a little different too, but Western Canada, man, if you want to become a professional basketball player, and you're Canadian, there is very few people playing pro that don't have a passport. And it's really possible for like a lot of Canadians, they have like heritage that's from, either Africa or Asia or Europe.
Sure.
Canada. So
especially Canadians, man, we're all from somewhere.
And everyone's got history.
And it's so young.
Heritage. And if you're that kind of person, then really look into it, because there's a lot of guys that are playing overseas at high levels right away because they can fit in on those teams in Spain, Italy, Germany, France, with those passports. So I feel like that's massive.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was telling you, a good buddy of mine, Tony McCrory, was an MVP too. And he got his dual citizen, and then he was able to just do so much more, right? So it's then that's a time like that's 95. That's like 99, 2000, where it's like, oh, you're going to go play pro overseas. Like what? Oh, it's kind of, yeah. Right. Whereas now, so for sure, that's definitely good insight. How did you go about that first year in pro? Like, what was it like? You go from, I think recruiting in Canada is an interesting process, but you committed to an American school pretty quickly. You play your years out, get your degree. You obviously met your future wife, so you're either married or dating at this time. But like, how did you figure out, and what was the agent process? And like I said at the start, like your journey, your suitcase is full, man. You got a lot of stickers on it. Yeah, your passport must ran out of pages a long time ago.
Nice. So it's great, because this is exactly, I'm going through this process. This story I'm sharing with you now about how I became a pro. I'm talking to college kids all the time. Like I'm just talking with Tristan Matthews right now from UBC. Great player, and I think he's going to be a good pro. I think it's going to translate. And again, reiterating this whole process, it's super important you pick an agent that has a good place for you, that will place you in the right direction. It's super important that you do your highlight tape the right way, so that people see not the benefits of how you did in college, but how the benefits of how you will turn yourself into a pro. And so I think I had some really good advice. I had a coach who was super connected in the league and other places. I did 2 NBA workouts right out of college. And man, let me tell you, it was hilarious. I did the Dallas workout in LA, and Phil and Tommy were both there. It was amazing. I saw you did the scrubs, and it was awesome. It was so much fun with them. Yeah. Good times. But okay, so it's important you pick the right agent. I had a friend of mine who, another pro who connected me to a Spanish agent and said like, hey, we think that you'd fit in Spain. And next thing you know, he was looking at some teams in second Spain and some teams in Portugal and some other places. And then this team in Romania jumped on, and they were like, hey, we love what you're doing. We saw your film from this guy, and this is the contract, sign it. Like no one gets to be here, sign it. I said, okay. So signed it. Signed like directly after the season. I want to say it was like probably a month after the season. I barely even had my highlight tape and stuff out. It just all kind of worked out. They were looking for the exact piece that I was. They're looking for a guy who could play the pick and roll. If anyone went under, I'd shoot it. And a guy that was going to make the extra pass and bring some leadership qualities, just even as a young guy. Done. So they were like, this is our guy. You need to sign this contract. Signed it. Yeah.
So that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's sometimes it works, sometimes not. It didn't go well. This is the best part. Yeah. I was in Romania they were a great team. The team was awesome. We were first in the league. That team ended up winning the championship that year. And we were like, I think 15, I don't know, let's say 10, 15 games in. Not even sure.
Are you like 22 right now? 22, 23, 21?
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
And I know nothing.
It's young, man.
Everyone tells this stuff to kids, right? Even agents don't. Like agents are so focused on, hey man, like what's your situation? They're living. This is what's going to come up. People don't give you the emotional or the physical or the mental support that you need, or the understanding of what you're walking into. You're walking into a role where they do not expect you to be a star player, depending on the league you go to. You go to a high level, fit in. That's your only job here. Fit in, understand the lifestyle, try and get your mind around being in a foreign country. If you go to a low level, no. Now it's time to be the star. Now you got to show out. Now you got to be there every single day, or they'll find someone else that wants it. Yeah. So I was in a pretty like Romania's a mid-level. I was also on a really good team, and we were winning games. And I thought I was safe and everything was great. And they came to me and said, "Hey, Marek, like we really like you. Actually, we actually love you, and we think you're a good player and stuff. But we think we have a chance at the championship. So we're cutting you, and we're bringing in this experienced point guard. You are." I was like, "Are you joking?" They're like, no. And he's 33 at the time. So I'm 22, he's 33. He showed up in practice. He's like skinny, like 33. Like, I don't know. I was like, bro, are you kidding me? I'm picking him up full court every day, like just going crazy on him. And like in my mind, I'm like, this guy is 11 years old and there's no chance he's better than me. But it's just the piece, the style, the fit. And they ended up going on to win the championship. You couldn't. Yeah.
Careful now. You're almost that guy, man.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's like, well, then this year, right? So this is, I came to this team, mid-season. And it's like I walked in and you can see it, right? Guys are like, oh man, like someone else is here to take roll, take minutes, take shots, etc. And it's just part of the game. Now you have to, as a pro, one of the biggest things is learning how to fit into a new environment and seamlessly and quickly is like that adaptability is massive.
Yeah. You only have like a little window before next man up, right? Like literally as you experienced first year, like.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that you would never get in college, right? Again, in college, it's like, hey, sometimes you're out of a role for a month, then you're back into the role for a month, and then the season, like it's just totally different.
Yeah. You make a good point too. A lot of people talk about, you get over there, new language, everything's new, your age, like what, like, how are you raised? Are you a homebody? You're far away. Like what is it like to live there? Is it actually nice? Like, so
Every country's
So many
different too, right?
factors.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, I'm telling you, man, those factors are. It's like you need an agent to connect you with teams and get you a job and to make sure everything's professional and the paperwork's right. All that stuff is very, very, very important. But you also need like a mental coach, like a performance coach that helps you with just things that are. And so I've had a mental performance coach for 3 years now, but I didn't have one when I was my first 4 or 5 years. And like you can see all the things that I missed out on because I wasn't prepared mentally to walk into a new culture that was like 30, 40 years behind the one I was just at. To walk into a style of basketball I didn't agree with, but I couldn't say anything. There's a lot of things that happen and there's a lot of places where you do. So that's why I really try and open myself up to like, Tristan, all these other guys. Every year I try and talk to 4 or 5 of the best players and try and help them develop themselves or get them to the next phase, just mentally,
Yeah. Did your girlfriend or wife, did she come with you at the start or no?
We left Romania like, I think 15 days after we got married, we were gone.
Really?
Yes. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience.
So then what'd you do after that first sort of like, all right, we've got the old dog coming in.
Yeah. I stayed there for a couple of weeks. We played, I play a game, he play a game, and I play a game. And it was just like my agent was like, this is not feasible for you.
So you would sit like, and then dress. So you weren't actually gone from the team. It was just, they brought in another dude.
Exactly. And they brought another guy in and it was like, you have a certain amount of, you're only allowed 6 Americans, whatever it is. So now we had 7. And then, which again, at the time I was like, this is unbelievable. Guy's going to play. I'm going to sit in the stands. Are you kidding me? I was furious every time. And now I'm like, this happens in a lot of leagues. Like we just played in the Euro Cup where we had 8 Americans. So 2 guys had to sit every game. It's like, this is just how it works, bro. This is how it works. Oh, wait, those 2 guys are super fresh for the next game. And you can't take it personally. And you just have to play your game.
And like you say, if you're going to be a biatch about it and whine and complain, it's like, see, you wouldn't want to be this is pro ball. Like there's another body out there that we'll find that they'll take this salary, So it's like,
and like I could have been a part of a championship team in that first year in Romania if I wanted to stay and switch off and on. But again, that probably wasn't the right thing either. So we left Romania. We got a contract in England, which is a step down as far as like level. But man, I was in a mind space where I was just like, let me have anything. Just let me have the ball and I'm going to go nuts. Let me have my own squad. And I averaged 18-8 that year. And I took a team that was in last place to the playoffs, like just in a whole different mind space. So it was great for me. And it was a fun experience for Lindsay and I and our wife. We actually really enjoyed Romania too. And it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey.
For sure. Love the approach, man. Well, looking back on it now, I mean, you're still in it. What's been like, and don't want to like France, still France, but like what's been a favorite spot for you? Just from a cultural standpoint, like what city or place did you like the most?
Oh, fam, we loved Turkey. Like we loved, we spent seasons in Turkey. We played in Istanbul and Izmir. And Istanbul itself was like, the team got us up in this like penthouse apartment. So we had like an overlook of the city. It was just,
here we go.
It was just, it was amazing. Coming home, the league was tough and coming back and like just seeing a city that never slept. Like I never seen New York. So I'm assuming it's like that, but it was just this hustle about the life. I think it was our 3rd year over there. And my wife and I were just we felt so alive in that city and it was so much fun. And we were winning games and it was great. And then we went back to Turkey again. We had such a good experience. We played in Izmir and that was like a stone's throw away from the Mediterranean, right across from Athens, living in Ephesus. Like it was unbelievable. We lived in a resort. We had 2 pools, palm trees everywhere. It was amazing. So Turkey was really cool. And then the country just is dirt cheap. So
yeah,
it's like
that always helps.
Your $1 American dollar went like 9 times, 9 to 1.
Damn.
So,
best fans? What were the best fans?
Best fans, they're pretty close here. Limoges is pretty intense, like super. This team I'm playing for in France is the first team to ever win first of any sport in all of France to win the European title, like the European title. Yeah, so we have like 7,000 strong at every game.
So it's popping off right now.
Super.
Yeah.
Last year we played in Poland for a team that was like, again, the best fans in Poland. We played some really good fan bases. But there's something different about European fan bases because it's like not like a grade 9, 10 kid that's coming to the game. This is like a 40-year-old man who's already had 5 beers. Yeah, exactly. Had 5 beers before the game started, had 5 during the game, and he's bet $1,000 on the win, So he's like ultimately invested in the pursuit of a win tonight.
Hoodie on after a tough loss when you're walking through the city.
Oh man, it's crazy. I've had the crazy stuff. The best fans are also the worst fans. So you have the best fans where they're riding with you when you get big wins. Riding. I mean, they're showing up 1,000 strong to the bus at 2 a.m. in the morning when you're showing up with flares. They're riding for you. They're driving 6-7 hours away to be in the stands for you. But those same fans, when you drop one at home that you weren't supposed to, are sending me DMs, sending me messages saying like, I can't wait to see your gravesite. I can't do that. Like, so it's really intense. And that's part of the job, obviously. That stuff is, again, stuff I had no idea I was going to have to deal with in my first couple of years. And yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's good. It's good though. It's all part of the journey.
For sure. Keep saying that. It is true though. It is really all part of the journey. And then, okay, let's touch on a little bit before we talk about, a little business adventure that you're about to take, which I think is super dope. I had the opportunity to tap into a little bit. We'll talk about that for sure. Getting the opportunity to become and even just play for the Bandits. Like, what was that experience like? Was that COVID?
Before.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, Bandits were before because I remember I was overseas playing. I don't know where I was playing, but I was playing somewhere. And then, I got a contact from Dylan, he's the president now, but he was like an old friend of mine, hey man, like it's kind of interesting, new league and stuff. Like, and I was like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna probably like rain check on that. I don't know what my plans are for the summer. And just cause I just wasn't sure. And then watching it, like I was overseas, but watching the first month, like, this looks really professional. I mean, this is really cool. Like great venues, great staff, good people. This is awesome. So I came back and played for them. And it was my first time in, my pro years plus my college years that my grandparents were able to come watch. My grandma came in a wheelchair. Something I'll never forget. She couldn't walk down the stage, but they wheeled her in a wheelchair courtside. Like it was amazing, to do that and see that. And so like I have photos from even last year where I played like 5 games or something, but 40, 45, 50 members of my family came out to watch because they've all heard of the things that I did when I was in high school, but they never got to see me play in college. They never got to see me play as a pro. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Did you process that? Like, Dylan gives you the call or whatever. You're like, sure, I'll do it. Are you thinking at that point too, wow, this will be a cool opportunity? Or is it sort of like naturally morph into that where you're like, damn, this was a good decision? Because like, it's pretty unique. That's why I asked the question, like going back and playing in front of your people is pretty dope.
It's very cool. It's very, very cool. And again, before the CEBL, like you think I'm also like a pro before that. So like, before that, you come back and you have to train anyway. So you have to train, you have to put your stuff up, you have to stay diligent. And I just, to be honest, the first year I was nervous because I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to play in something.
That's what I was wondering too. Yeah.
I wasn't sure about the money. And I'm like, I wasn't sure about the money. And I wasn't sure about if I play all these games, am I going to hurt myself in the game? Or am I just going to be like burnt out from it and then not be able to play again over? Like I was nervous about it. My agent was nervous. He like, again, most guys that do well enough overseas don't play in the summers because they need to relax and recover and all these different things. Yeah. So it was interesting, but again, it overruled when I got there and saw the professionalism. And again, like Dylan's running a great ship over there at the Bandits. But yeah, I saw the professionalism, saw the way that like they're incorporating the community, and I want to be a part of it right away. And that was like from me going to do I want every high school visit, I'm there every time, because I want to show the kids like, no, I'm from this city, and I've done this and I want the next generation to do it too. So
yeah, shout out to Dylan, man. He's doing a great job and he's a big fan of the pod and stuff. And it's cool. And it just regardless, it's another opportunity for kids to see pro level basketball and have hopes and dreams, right? And I think the Langley Events is a great location for it. They've branded so well. And like you mentioned, they do a great job in the communities and stuff. And at the provincials, they're always around, like they're doing a good job. So we wish them success.
Dylan is a super hard and diligent worker. Like he's not just a hard worker, he's smart. Yeah. And what he's done by harnessing the power of the community to build a brand is the essential thing. Like forget about the basketball. The basketball's high level actually. There's good players there.
Sure.
But forget about that. It's more about the impact they can have on the community. And for me, that's exactly why I'm there. So, big shout out to Dylan, and the team that he's built there. But also, one thing I want to mention too, I forgot in the beginning is for any high school kid who thinks they have a chance to make it to college. For any college kid who thinks, and this is like, again, for my guys in the Western, I know you got a lot of listeners all over, but my kids in Western BC that they don't have as much, as resources, and they don't have pro teams like every day, you need to build a team around you that wants you to be successful, that makes you professional. Like, I don't know what that term was, makes you diligent in areas of your life that you aren't. So for me, when I got a sport performance coach, Ian Perry, when he became my mental performance coach, it elevated me to different areas. 100%. It totally did. And then when I became, when I had a couple of major or small minor injuries and I got Greg Bay on my team, it's like I could text him anytime I wanted to. Boom. It was, and my team elevated. When all of a sudden I started having professional one-on-one workouts with Yoshia Burton and Abbotsford, it elevated myself. And so those are my pro connections. And I built this team around myself that has now I can on text basis lift myself up and elevate me. At the high school level, it's the same way. You got to find a college kid. You got to find a college coach. You got to find someone who can lift you up in different ways and build you around so that there's multiple people that want to see you succeed, and then you will succeed. That's how it works.
Interesting perspective, man. Yeah. As opposed to, I think, especially at the high school level, you're kind of just waiting for it to happen, you know?
Waiting.
Yeah. Go knock on doors.
One good game.
Yeah.
You want to have one good game and be like Steve Nash and get one offer and I'm going to go to the school. I'm going to kill and I'm going to be an MVP. It's like, no.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, totally. Have you read The Mindful Athlete?
The Mindful Athlete. Who's the author?
George Mumford or whatever. He worked with the Bulls, worked with like MJ for years and Kobe. I'll text you a photo of the book. It's dope, man. It's really good. Okay. And it's stuff like me being 45 now and still coaching. I'm like, damn, I wish I saw this stuff when I was 18. You know, like you talked 100%. About the mind coach. I'm like, it's crazy how much more we know, you know, and that's.
Oh man, this is why like all my camps, I don't just do basketball camps anymore. You know, now I'm doing these guys like Ian needs to.
Oh, there's enough out there. They can go freaking dribble 5 basketballs and do a jump stop. You know, like it's all the other things.
Yeah, like, and you know, and what are you saying to yourself? You know, like social media, this kind of stuff is the kids are dealing with a lot of different stuff than I had to when I was a kid. But just the way you approach life and how you approach, you know, your own self-talk and all these different things are vitally important to how you're going to grow, not just as a basketball player, but as an individual. So I'm huge on that stuff. Like I said, I have a huge faith background, but like my wife will attest to, you know, having that performance coach who in the back of my mind is outlining, you know, what's controllable here. Are you like, why I started this was because I thought I could be a great basketball player. I love the game. And so am I still on that path? Am I still every day waking up trying to see how good Marek Klassen can become? You know, like that's the stuff that people need to hear. And in grade 9, grade 10, kids, coaches yelling at you, who cares? How good can you become? That's what needs to go through your mind.
I just got to pause for a sec, man. Got to pause. Man of faith, taking them to church on a Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Taking them to church on a Friday. I love it. It's true, man.
You know how it is with these coaches. I mean, you're a coach now too, but my wife was saying that her sister has a 9-year-old, like first year of high school in America, and Arizona is different, but and the coach yelling at him and telling me he has to play his role and all these different things. And I'm like, holy cow, play your role. And like you're there's all these different things and there's all these, like, you know, and I understand it, but you have to fall in love with the game in the process and understanding that, you know, why are you here, man? Is it to become like, how good can Marek Klassen become? That's what I want to know. That's why I'm still here.
It's true. It is why you're still there. A lot of people you've probably seen walk away or haven't lasted or whatever, right? Still there, man. And that's as you start to get longer in the tooth, that's going to be the edge, right? You need every advantage you can get. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, you gotta know yourself. Once you get to the pro level, it's different than college. You got to know yourself. You know, your 2 skills one skill is going to get you on the court. Ryan Pinot, Julie coach. One skill is going to get you on the court. One skill is going to keep you there. That's as a pro, you got to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I love it, man. So good. Before we find out your thoughts about ketchup on macaroni, let's talk about your next adventure that you're working on. I mean, you've had yourself a busy day. Bumped our interview a few minutes so you could have another meeting, which is good and bad. Means like life's busy, but busy's good too, man. Means lots of good things are happening. So let's talk a little bit about that. I got to dive into the app, which looks pretty cool, but I'm looking forward to even checking out more. Let's chat about that in your next adventure. The best part about this podcast is not everybody's had the opportunity to meet me, and I haven't been able to meet you in person. But if you know me, you know I have the body of an Adonis. But I also like a cold beer. Head to Parkside, support our guys, find them in the local government stores, whatever you got to do. If you're at a pub or a bar locally, ask if they're on tap. Give them some love. Our guy Sam and the people there have been so good to us. We can't say enough. We hope to see you at Parkside.
Yeah, that's great. So I've been developing an app, a basketball decision-making app for about 6 months. 6 months total. It's been about 8 months of discovery and all that stuff, but 6 months it's been developed and finally it's ready.
Are you a techie guy?
It's interesting. You know, I should have going back, I would have loved to study computer science in college because I love the way it works, but I didn't personally develop all of it. You know, there's a team in Toronto that we hired,
of course,
to develop a lot of like the front end stuff, but the back end stuff is mine, which is great. Mm-hmm. But so like basically I know my niche of who I am in pro basketball and how I can get there. And, you know, what G League coaches told me, what NBA coaches told me, what overseas coaches told me is that you have to be able to read the game in the pick and roll at an incredibly high level, making the right decision almost every time. And then when you're off the ball, when the ball comes to you, you need to move, rotate, shoot, whatever you need to do in 0.5 seconds. You know, and that 0.5 decision making, we all know, is key. So focusing on that read that read and react situation is all basketball. And the whole point is that if you can know what your read is before you catch the ball, then you're going to become like, it's going to be easier for you to play the game, but also easier for your teammates to play, etc. So the point of the app is that I'm giving people these decision-making reads on film with real live characters. They're going to watch me play overseas. They're going to watch NBA content. They're going to watch EuroLeague content. They're going to watch content from Australia, WNBA content. They're going to watch a ton of stuff. And it's going to be, an example would be Marek Klassen coming over a top pick and roll. I get to the paint.
I'm listening to you. I'm just scrolling on the app while you talk. So
okay, I get a paint touch at the elbow, and I have an athletic big rolling, and so now we're at 2-on-1, and it pauses, and it says like, what should Marek do, or what should the person with the ball do? Should he shoot the floater? Should he lob it to the big man, or should he hit the corner shooter? And you need to decide in 5 seconds or less. It's a shot clock, and the shot clock counts down 5, 4, 3, exactly the same house, even faster in the game. But you need to be able to read the defense. You need to be able to see what's happening on the court. And they're not all questions like that, but there are some tricky things thrown in there. But focusing on helping kids understand the vital reads that you need to be able to make on the ball, off the ball. A lot of terminology stuff based in there as well. But all of it's with the shot clock. All of it's trying to pressure people to make them uncomfortable so that they can build that sort of knowledge in their own brain and transition it straight to the court. Because what I found is that by increasing your basketball IQ, it'll directly increase your on-court performance. Period.
Yeah. No doubt, man. Yeah, it's cool. This is very cool. And you didn't mention the name. It's Hooper IQ.
Hooper IQ, yeah. And so it's going to be Hooper IQ, talk about. We had a marketing call just like 30 minutes ago, an hour ago. But we're launching at the end of April. Hooper IQ is going to be live on the App Store. It's going to be live on the Google Store, all that stuff. It's totally free. My target market, hopefully is young kids that really are involved and love basketball. But to be honest, it's really a lot of basketball fans. If you're a fan of basketball and you just watch the play-ins, I don't know if you watch the Laker game, but why are the Lakers fouling a guy? Why is Anthony Davis fouling a guy?
I'm a Timberwolves fan, buddy.
You're sick.
I am for many reasons, but that's one.
Facts. But the thing is, you were so
how bad was that game?
Oh, it's terrible.
Some of the decision making and stuff down the. Oh my God! I was like, can I get this 2 hours and 48 minutes back? Because
it's like imagine now coaches watching those coaches watching the game, going like, holy cow, we made 20 mistakes that are like brutal mistakes that cost us the game. And at the high school level, there's 100. At the elementary school, there's 1 million. And every kid starts just slowly starts working their way up to where maybe they can't have the skill yet to make these reads happen. They don't have it yet, but if they know what they're supposed to do, then we can drill those skills. So if I show a kid, get in the paint, draw 2 defenders, and they're going to have the big rolling. If the big's not open, it's because the weak side corner tagged his defense, and you're going to zip it over there to the shooter. Then we just work on those 2 skills. Paint touch, pocket pass, paint touch, pocket pass, paint touch, zip the pass, hook pass. And we work on those 2 skills. You understand the read, and then we have a coach drill it. Next thing you know, he's playing better basketball. Yeah.
It's cool, man. I love the concept of having the leaderboards, makes people be involved in the app. So there's challenges and stuff. And don't overlook, as a coach, I know you're saying the target is kind of young players, but I'm like, shoot, man, I can learn off this app too. Maybe I don't know how to make the right read, or, I'm serious. Honestly, there's lots of resources here, and lots of things that, because then as a coach, I'm like, maybe I don't know how to teach that to that point guard or that shooting guard, right? This gives me maybe a different language, a different look at it. It's a resource. Yeah.
Oh man. Or maybe as a coach, and again, I appreciate you saying that, because there's a lot of coaches that, imagine this, if you lay down the type of players you have on your team, you have to this is what coaches should do, right? This guy's a non-shooter, shooter, non-shooter, whatever it is. You lay them out and you go, okay, now what kind of offense is going to actually maximize these kids? Because if we got no shooters with the ball, then why are we running Steph Curry's offense? It's going to just give us percentage opportunities.
Totally. The one year I ran dribble drive just because everybody was running dribble drive. I'm like, we suck at dribble drive. Right. Our kids don't know where the shots are coming from. They have no idea. They need A, B, C as an option. I'm like, this is terrible.
Exactly. Everyone's running 5 out, but they have nobody that can shoot the 3. And it's like, okay, well, this is not going to win games. It might develop kids, but it's really not. It's not teaching you how to play the right game of basketball. So,
podcast. I just had a flashback of my T-Wolves. Sorry to cut you off. Anthony Edwards dribbling with the 2 guards just basically stacked at the free throw line, and he's got nowhere to go, and then would clutch his dribble, and I'm like, oh my God, man, frick! I'm still not over it, as you can tell.
I love it. No, those things will stick with you forever.
It's painful.
So I think there's a lot of avenues where the app to go. The leaderboard's really exciting because it's going to give you a leaderboard for a global leaderboard, cool, but it's going to give you a positional leaderboard. It's going to give you, how are you doing among point guards? How are you doing among kids your age? So 15 to 18-year-olds. What's your IQ level like? Eventually, it's going to have your team on there. So if you're going to identify with, with Yale basketball or something like that, there's going to be a way to identify yourself with there, and then you'll be able to see that. And I'm going to be super interested when the app develops there, and you have your whole team on there. Are the 5 kids with the highest IQ ratings based on the scores of the quizzes? Are those kids your best players? If they're not, what happens if you put those kids on the court at the same time? Right. What happens? If it's the highest level of IQ you have, does that just make the game flow better? Maybe you lose some games, maybe you win some games, maybe they're not physical enough to play, whatever. But
sure,
I'm interested to see what that looks like, that data. And I would like to see that even in the NBA. Show me your 5 highest IQ players by position and put the 5 guys out there that have the best. And so like now we're seeing guys like Jokic, right? Jokic, he's just as high IQ as a point guard. LeBron, same thing, right? These guys make everyone around them at all times. They also have the physical attributes, but yeah, that's where the game's going, Get high IQ players on the court that have the skill and you will see better results.
I think it's cool too, because with things like podcasts and stuff like that, like I'm hearing more and more, you like when I grew up, it's like you just watch the game, you see the highlights, you watch the game, you see the highlights. There wasn't as that much in depth to it. And how many times I've listened to a podcast and, former guys or current guys are talking about how smart X player is. Like, I think we just really overlook that. Guys get to a pro level and we think it's just natural ability and talent and hard work. It's like, no, they're making a read on every play. And these guys are so smart, right? So smart. Yeah. So
it's like space. It's like not just like people think, and then the thing is the terminology smart, right? What does that mean? Oh, he made a great pass in the pick and roll. He saw the defenders. No, it's about terminology. It's about being seamless with all terminology and all plays around the world. It's about spacing on the court. Where do you go? Where do you not go? Knowing how to maximize your teammates off of certain spacing, knowing the scouting report for offense and defense. There's so many things. There's so many factors. A million.
And you see yourself as sorry. You go. One more thing. I'll ask my question.
The last thing I'll say about the app is that I feel like this is the future of how we'll view sports. I was in England watching a soccer game, a Champions League soccer game, and the ball went to a corner kick. I don't know. I'm not. Anyway, went to a corner kick, and the announcer in that time, 10 seconds it took for the guy to set the ball up and kick it. He said, "Hey, there's a 30% chance he'll kick it here. There's a 60% chance he'll kick it to the middle, and the goalie will get it. And there's a 21% chance he'll play a little pass with his friend over here." And then boom, he played it, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then it gave the announcer 30 seconds of talking points on how this was going to happen. And boom. That's how I feel like we're going to view basketball in the future. It's going to be a timeout and say, can you guys fathom what Chris Paul is doing out there right now? He's making this defense and he's taking everyone and making them look so silly based off of this one simple read. And they're going to break it down. And that's how, and then the average viewer is going to learn about basketball and enjoy it better because now they can understand it.
Yeah. Boom. I nailed it. I was listening to JJ today. He was talking with J.R. Smith, and J.R. was talking about how annoying it was to chase JJ around all the time. But it was even worse because Chris Paul was always looking to get him a shot, right? And you're like, just that little nugget, you're like, you already know it. But when you hear a pro say, hey, such guy was doing this, you're like, damn, Chris Paul actually is like that. So yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Do you see yourself being a coach? You're speaking like a coach, or is it just a passion of basketball?
I like doing the individual stuff. Like I really like doing camps and encouraging kids and empowering them. My dad was a coach for a long time. But no, I want to do something outside of that. I want to do something like this, like with the app. I want to try and I don't know, to be honest, it's an interesting thing, but I'm in touch sort of like Alex Sarama and some other guys that are sort of these new thinkers of basketball, these new dynamic type things. And I'm interested to see where the game's going to evolve into the next few years. And I want to sort of push it in that envelope. I want to, everything I do now, if I came around a camp for you, or just came as a guest coach, I would do everything decision making. I would say like, this coach, like Marek's the coach, and I'm going to decide to play the pick and roll, or I'm going to decide to play this type of defense or not. You just have to read it based off of it, and like make kids fail up and down, left and right all the time. And once they learn and acquire the read, they'll learn the skill 4 times faster. We know that based on brain development. And so I'm excited to see like where that sort of gets, that motor learning skill gets taught into it. And I don't see myself as a traditional coach just because, to be honest, like I lived the basketball.
You're sane human being. That's why.
Yeah, and I've done this traveling and all this different stuff for so many years. I can't do this as a coach. My wife would shoot me. There's no question.
Fair. And no one would blame her, probably, right?
No one would blame her.
Yeah. All right, man. This has been dope. Let's get into some fun questions. We'll get you to bed so you can rest up for the rest of the season. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, man. Let's get right to it. Canadian question: how do you feel about ketchup on macaroni?
I'm all about it. Ketchup on that every time.
And salt.
Ketchup and salt.
And salt. You should see his face right now, folks. He lit up. He lit up with a smile when he was talking about ketchup on macaroni. It was like it was 7-year-old Marek back at home just getting some KD with a big old jar of freaking Heinz ketchup. Wow. Okay.
Flavor profile, yeah.
And salt.
Salt and pepper, yeah. Salt and pepper and throw a little ketchup on there. That's the perfect flavor profile.
Your wife try it? She's American. She probably
My wife's American, yeah.
I wonder if she knows. Does she know about the ketchup and macaroni?
Yeah, of course. That's
Does your kid like? Does Kingston like ketchup?
Kingston only eats broccoli and homegrown meat. No, I'm just
Nice.
playing. You can't really find mac and cheese overseas, but yeah, Kingston likes ketchup, I think.
Gets ketchup if he does his 100 push-ups.
Yeah, exactly. His crunches.
Don't worry, Matt. It only gets worse. My kid's 6, and it's like dinner time every day. Is like, can you just put something in your mouth, please? Like, please. Like, it's not even worth the fight. You know, it's like he'll survive without dinner. Just go play with your Lego, man. Okay, dead or alive, you and wifey get to go to the best seat in the house concert. You're taking your wife. Who are you going to see? The artist doesn't necessarily need to be alive. They don't need to be at their peak. For you, though, who are we going to see? You can give us more than one as well if you'd like.
Oh my goodness. First of all, I'm not a big music guy, unfortunately. I just didn't listen to music when I was a kid.
Are your AirPods dead?
Yeah, good question. Great question. No.
See, I was listening.
You were facts around to it. Lindsay, what's your top concert you'd go to? Artist, dead or alive? Who would you come in?
I go to
Elevation Worship. That's big. That's a big one.
Indoor, outdoor, nice California day. Outdoor, there you go. Yeah. Listen, it's okay that you're struggling with. I'm just glad you didn't blurt out Drake because.
I know. No, I'm not about that. No,
yeah.
But no.
Man, you got to go to some concerts. Live music's good. It's a good time.
Never been to a concert.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Like you know how there's things like I get impressed by like hockey players because I've never knew how to skate, right? Like I find hockey super intriguing, right? When I go watch, and it doesn't matter what genre, what it is, when I see people like singing, playing instruments, I'm like, you are talented people, man.
Yeah, no doubt,
and to make it sound good, I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like I love going to live shows. I just find it like nuts. Yeah.
Lindsay and I have traveled. We traveled in several countries and seen people like at a bar, just live music, and then just like wow, this person's super talented, and stayed, for a long time just to listen to that individual. But I love classical stuff. I love that kind of work. We try and do like the opera and the orchestra in every country we go to and hit that. So just
talented are those people, man. It's crazy.
Extremely. And you know what's funny is like people that have to strive in their own field, like excellence is attractive, right? It's such an attractive quality to go there and see someone do something like that. It's impressive.
Agree. You've touched on a lot of people in this. Is there anyone you've missed who's been some of the most important people in your life? Obviously, you got your wife, you talked about your dad, your mom. Is there anybody that you're missing? I mean, I think this question can break up into chapters, right? Depending on where you are and what you're doing. But anyone else that comes to mind that was kind of like super important to you?
My family is very important, and it's always been the rock for me and my wife, obviously my son, but my immediate family, like I said, my mom and dad, my brother, sisters. I have I shouldn't say adopted. She's a foster sister, Linda. She's like 46 this year. And she has a bunch of mental disabilities. She's got a lot of mental handicaps. She's probably operating at like, let's say a 10-year-old for her whole life. Mm-hmm. But she is an incredible individual, and she presents so many challenges for our family, but it has given us such a humble approach to life and just a joy and a gratitude for everyday life. And she wakes up and she never, ever, not one moment of her life has been selfish. And she grinds and like she doesn't know how hard she works on other things. And so she's given our family like an incredible just drive for and just sense of gratitude and faith. And so I mean, I always just want to thank God first, and then my family second. Mm-hmm. But again, I will say just professionally, what has taken me to the next level has allowed me to be, an MVP in certain leagues and play at a very, very high level and get to the Euro Cup and stuff, has been able to talk to a guy like to Yosh and handle a lot of my stuff. Ian with the mental performance, have Greg and these other guys, like having a team around me. Mm-hmm. I literally wrote my name down in the bubble and wrote, I need a physio. I need it. I need a sport. I need like a sports mental performance coach. I need a guy who's going to handle my body in the off seasons. And I wrote those things down and I went and found them. And that took me to the next level, period. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just about me checking in. It was now they're checking in on me and saying, no, I'm not going to let you be average. Like you hired me because I'm not going to let you be that guy.
whatever you're doing right now, listening at work, rolling in your whip, going for a walk, whatever it is, hang on for a sec. You like jerseys? You like stance socks? You like throwback? You like shoes? You like anything related to basketball? Hit up ATOB Ball. And if you're not able to be there in store at Langley Event Center, check them out on the web. And I guarantee you'll find something you like. Give us a mention and you'll never know. Shout out to our boy Jeff. ATOB Ball for life. You ever, Ernie Johnson from TNT?
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever see his story about his son?
I haven't.
Check it out. Give it a Google when you're done. He's got a pretty low functioning son, and there's they do like a little E60 on it, man. It's like a tearjerker, man. It's powerful stuff. So yeah.
Totally. I tell people all the time, like, until you've met Linda, you can't understand what my family's been through as far as the wake up every day and have gratitude to go and fight for something like playing basketball for a living is unbelievable.
The research says, man, the people that show gratitude just live a happier life and they just have a clearer mind, right? It's interesting. Just being grateful for just the small things like our health every day is so vital, man. Something I try to do. You got a little pen and pad next to the bed. Just a couple things, even if they're super corny. It's like, hey, man, I'm thankful for that. Yeah,
It's awesome.
Good stuff, man. Okay, books or movies? Books or movies? What are you taking?
I'm a big book reader. I was a big book guy when I was
Let's
younger.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
You got some all-timers? Are you reading something right now? I'm a terrible reader. I try, but what you got? Like, what's the go-to? Obviously, Bible's number one.
Yeah.
We don't need, we already know.
That'll solve your problems. Read the word. No, but I don't know. One of my favorite fantasy series of all time. It just came out on.
He is. He's into it. Look at this, folks. He's like fantasy series. He said, "Let's go."
When I was younger, it's the greatest. To me, it's the greatest fantasy series of all time. I read it when I was a kid. It's The Wheel of Time. It just came out as a TV series. The first season dropped, I think, in the summer.
Did you watch it?
I watched a few episodes. My wife and I caught a couple episodes. Man, it's crazy how you don't watch any TV when you're overseas because it's just different. Yeah, interesting.
Was the book better?
The books are unbelievable.
Yeah,
they're incredible. I think it's like 13. It's Robert Jordan, 13 books. The author died in the middle of writing the last book. He wrote it over.
No way.
Yeah, it was crazy. So his wife and then it was his wife and they chose the top 2 artists from around the world to come and finish his last book. Wow. So that, if you're into that and you're at that age and you're into the fantasy, check out The Real Time, the Robert Jordan series. I read a lot, man. I mean, what are you reading right now?
I'm reading the book on John Thompson from Georgetown.
Oh.
Do you know that is the old John Thompson coach? Yeah. Came in as it's very good. Anyways, lots of racial stuff and being he was illiterate when he was young. It's interesting. Good read.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I just read cybersecurity. Also, I think you got to branch out. In these days you can do the audiobooks and stuff too. I read something on cybersecurity. It's the $1 billion industry. I just read something on. I read the new Dave Goggins book.
Yeah.
One recently.
Are you going to check right now?
No, I'm just kidding.
Gonna stretch.
And hey, another thing. Shout out to all the people in the world that stretch. Those people are too good.
Dude, I never did it until I turned 35. And then I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I've never done more yoga and stretching in my life because it's about survival, man. Yeah.
My wife never read any books. She read 3 books before she met me in her whole life. And then we try to get into it. These personal development stuff is key and reading and it's great. But we also love the movies, but again, you don't go to since we become parents, you don't go to movies either. So what the heck?
You ain't got time to do anything, buddy. And when Kingston finally puts the head on the pillow, it's like, can we just have some quiet?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want the TV on. Can we just listen to silence? Hear the lights buzzing? Okay, a couple more questions, man. It's off season. You're going to break the diet for one day. You get to get 1 bag of chips. What's the greatest bag of chips?
Greatest? I mean, I hate to do this. I hate to be that guy.
Oh, here we go.
I know I hate to go so cliche, but man, I gotta take myself a bag of ketchup chips. I just one bag.
Cliche at all, my friend. It's not cliche at all.
Because you know how the Canadian people are always doing that. Everyone's going to say the nice little barbecue from Houston chips. No, give me a bag of ketchup chips, and especially just one bag. I can't do ketchup chips every day.
Too tangy.
But man, you give me a bag. I'm into it. I'm into that.
I'm not mad at that at all. I am not mad at that at all, my friend. It's your show. It's your episode. But you made the right choice. We're not here to judge. There's no guilt there. Have you had the ketchup Dorito?
No, I haven't.
Solid.
I'll get on it.
Solid. I prefer regular ketchup style chips, but still, it says something. If Doritos is making a ketchup chip, there's something to be said for ketchup chips. So don't get it twisted.
No, that's certified. Absolutely.
You, 4 other guys, and a coach get to go play on the blacktop. So no refs, like call your own, right? You're at Kitts Beach or somewhere. I'll let you choose. It could be your favorite players all time. It could be guys that you played with. I have a feeling I already know who the coach is going to be, but who do we got? Who's out there rolling with the Klassen?
Wait, hold on. Who are you talking about? So you
it's you got to pick 4 guys to hoop with.
Oh my goodness. Holy cow. And I got to roll down the Kitts Beach and beat everybody there by 100.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to be hard.
Play for... Oh!
I'm just playing. Crazy. I never won the Dolphin tournament, so I can't say nothing. I played like 10 years the Dolphin, never won that place. That's wild. That still hurts me to this day. Yeah, I won't sleep tonight.
He's still mad about Dolphin. He's still mad about the 8 free throws in 2009 or whatever, folks. Yeah.
I played with DJ Stephens this year in the Euro Cup. This dude's the best dunker in the world still at age 32, 33. He's the most exciting player to watch in all of Europe as from that position. He can touch his head on the rim in any spot. It's unbelievable. So if anybody out there listening, he's amazing so bring him for sure, because he's going to do some stuff that are going to just make people go crazy.
Okay.
Pops is going to be coaching.
Obviously.
Yeah, Pops is going to be there coaching. And you know what's crazy? My dad's going to make us play defense. It's going to be, we just want to be out there.
Still going to be barking at you, man.
I mean, like, we just want to be out there playing throwing lobs to DJ, and it has been anyway. I'm going to bring my brother at the 2, lock him in there with me. He can hoop. I played with some great players across my career, man. Holy cow. I might throw Dalton Thomas in there. He's 2-way with the Spurs, and then he's now he's in Baskonia. Great player. I played with Andre Baldwin this year, Czech guy, big man, 7'3", and blocks everything, dunks everything. Yeah, he dunked Wemby in the championship this year. So
nice. You need that on the blacktop too. You need that base. Like someone goes by, you need a big man to.
Got to bang on the blacktop.
You need a foul, right? There's no fouling out. It's like you just can't give up game point, right?
I wish, one thing I do wish is I wish the players that I've met across my career, and even guys like when I was younger, I'd love to see them as, if we could all play together as in our primes. I would have loved to guard Steve Jansen in his actual prime when I was in my prime. Like, let me have him now when he was then, and let's see what happens, because he was just a feisty. He would just fight anyone at any time just because of the.
Yeah.
That's those are good times. Those are good times.
I coached a half year at Langara, and Steve was on that team. There'd be a few days where like, yo, man, can you just chill out for a sec? Yeah.
It's Tuesday afternoon, bro. No one wants to be here.
Yeah. Right. Good stuff. Okay, man, this has been, great. Followed your career, and it's been special, and really enjoy meeting new people and chopping it up. Our last question before we let you go, though, is who would you like to see on a hoops journey? Who's got a good story out there? Only thing is, you are the connect. So you're the plug. Someone that doesn't have to be a Canadian, someone who you think's got a good story, would be good to connect with and wouldn't mind talking hoops with me.
It's a great question. Do you want to play or do you want to coach?
Doesn't matter to me. We've had them all.
I'm going to play with the coach. This is Ryan Panone. I don't know if you know Ryan. He coached me in the G League with Erie. Now is Birmingham. But he's now not two-way. He's a two-way. He's now assistant coach with the Pelicans.
Okay.
I met this guy. I was in between Romania and England in my first year. We had to be somewhere, So we flew up to Germany, and we were working out for a team there, Frankfurt. And Ryan was coaching at Hanu, right next door, and he had me out there. And I'm telling you, this guy put me through a workout. It was it was ridiculous. Just sprinting full court, layups, shots. It was crazy. At the end, he said, "You're out of shape. You're not worth it, but I'll sign you to my team." It was just it was ridiculous. So he was coaching in Germany. Then we met up later and signed me to this team in the G League. And now he's a two-way. I keep saying two-way. Now he's an assistant with the Pelicans. And he's the best basketball mind I've ever come across.
Nice.
He's
Checking him out.
recognized as like one of the top in the NBA, and I think he has some concepts just about like basketball and the stats of basketball and what kids should be practicing and like what the future of the game looks like that are so different.
Cool. I actually want to do one of my visions for the pod is to have a little bit of like what you're talking about, X's and O's, or like a coaching series also, right? So hearing people's stories, but also like what are your favorite things to run? How do you guard this? Or, I think would be kind of fun too, right? So yeah, dope, man. All right, Ryan, you've been put on blast. You're a busy man right now, but we'll get you. If we can lock down Marek Klassen in France sitting on his floor, then we can get you for sure.
That's a long off season for those NBA guys. So
yeah, no doubt. He'll have time. Amazing, man. Best of luck with the rest of the season, being a family man, juggling it all. Any last thoughts or reflections before we let you go?
No, it's been an amazing thing, to be playing this long overseas and stuff. And I just want to give all glory to God. And again, shout out to my family for being here, because it's just, this is not an easy thing if you're overseas without a family. For 8, 9, 10 months, it's not easy.
What a way to end it, man. What a way to end it. And it seems like you've got all the right people in your corner that you need. And we wish you nothing but the best, man. Let's make sure we at least meet each other in person at some point. And stay healthy and good luck to you and your team the rest of the way. All right, brother?
Thanks. And check out Hooper IQ in 2 weeks.
You got it. 2 weeks it'll be live by the time this episode comes out. So everybody check it out, get on it. I was scrolling on it today. I'm planning to nerd on it a little bit later too. Until my wife tells me to get off my phone, but, good stuff, man. And thanks for helping grow the game in your own little way and being a mentor to people. Like you've mentioned, talking with UBC guys or U Sport guys, like it means a lot because people need that. And we need OGs to look out for these young people, because some of them, they struggle to make decisions or don't know, and they don't know how to reach out. So it's important. That mentorship's important. Yeah. Keep it going, man.
Reach out, guys. Everybody reach out. Appreciate it.
Stay well, get rest, and we'll chat soon. All right, brother.